What's up, everybody? What's up, all you nerds and turds? Welcome back to Indie's Nutz podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana, and with me this week is my brethren from another methrin. He's Missed Enough, aka Matt Murray, aka the Fuzzy One. What's up, Matt? How are you?
How we doing, man? I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody out there?
I feel like we did an entire podcast before hitting record tonight.
It kind of feels that way, yeah, but like in a good way.
Yeah, totally. Andy is not here tonight. Andy is having the worst week at work.
It seems like it, yeah.
Super busy. I've been super busy too, but his work keeps him there late. If he works in events, so like sometimes there's events that just are happening late, so he's got to stay. If I sound different, it's because my microphone is in fact still broken, and I'm using the microphone that we bought me when we first. So I used the Rock Band mic when we did our first episode of Nintendo Dual Screens. I used that Rock Band mic for maybe the first dozen or so episodes. Excuse me. And then we bought this mic, which came with like a boom arm and this whole thing. It's a nice little budget microphone, but boy, was it a pain in the ass to get all this stuff back up and running. But ladies and gentlemen, You're not here to talk about microphones. You're not here to talk about the pre-show that you can or maybe can't listen to, depending if you support us on Patreon.
Which you should.
Which you absolutely should.
Only $1.
But Matt and I, we are just nuts about indies, and we are your new home for all things indie game news, previews, and reviews. So hit that sub button and sit back and relax. Why dual screens? Why even hang out with dual screens? I'll tell you why. Because through the Dual Screens podcast and through our website for the last 4+ years, we have covered thousands at this point video games, but we've also interviewed over 300 indie developer guests and voice talent. We know indies. We love indies. We eat shit and breathe indies. And so we are doing this show now to bring you hidden gems and games that you absolutely must play. So that we should be your one-stop shop for all things indie gaming. It's what we love to do. And if you love what we do consider going to patreon.com/dualscreens, just like our two Patreon producers, Colton the Apprentice Nestler and FNH Paul. I just hit my microphone. We cannot continue to grow without all of your support. So please, please, please feel free to go over there, and as little as $1 gets you bonus content and into our secret VIP Discord channel. That's it for the rigmarole. Let's dive right in. What's new on Dual Screens? I'll tell you what's new. Dualscreens.com is brand new. We relaunched the website. It is the website is brand new. It is a new, clean design. We're still working on a couple of things that we need to fix. The About Us page needs a little tweaking, needs updated graphics and bios and all that stuff. And our guest host page is going to get a complete revamp. But right now, you can, without a doubt, right now go and check out our brand new website. It looks clean and delicious. And it is so much more functional than the previous one. Not to say the previous one was bad, but like we sort of threw that together without really knowing what the website was going to be. And now that we have a better idea of what kind of content lives on that website, we cleaned it up and made it very specific to that website. And I'm very, very, very excited for that launch because it looks really cool.
Yeah, I think really the way to describe it is it was a very independent website before, and now it really does feel like we're kind of putting our best foot forward.
Yeah, totally. So that's what's new on Dual Screens. Hopefully we're going to be able to put some more content up there for you now that we can focus on that. Speaking of focus, we are still focusing heavily on another indie game showcase. That's right, Dual Screens Indie Games Showcase. We are upwards of 40+ games right now that are confirmed coming to this thing. So that is very exciting.
Huge.
Yeah. Matt, you are getting some fan bleed at this point. It just randomly started happening. I don't know if that was you turned sensitivity up or whatever. Just a heads up.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. So we have 40+ games that are confirmed for that, but we also have something kind of incredible in the works right now that we can't confirm or announce just yet. But in the next couple of weeks, we are going to be able to do that. And it is massive, massive, massive news. And I'm going to tease it in this way. We have been told that if we do this thing that we are in talks for doing, it increases traffic to us and to the developers by over 200% than if we didn't do this thing. So whatever this thing is, I'm still getting your fan, by the way. I don't know what the hell just happened.
All right, let me turn it. I'll just turn it off. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah. So what this thing is, and I'm not going to comment on it. You could guess all you want. We're not going to confirm it or deny it. But I promise you, it is going to be absolutely incredible for dual screens. And I am so excited. Let's just put it this way. Without giving it away, we are going to be able to include, as part of this celebration of indie games, we are going to be able to include any of our previous 300 guests. Anyone that wants to be involved.
Whoa.
And that is how we're going to tease it. So, let's move on.
Huge.
Let's go into our indie game adventures.
Let's do it.
So I played a lot of Splitgate, and I know it's old. I get it. It's been out a while. But they're doing really good things over at Splitgate. I started streaming it again on Saturdays, Splitgate Saturdays. So a couple of weeks ago I started it, and one of the community managers actually came in my stream and just kind of, shot the breeze with us and hung out a little bit while we were playing. That game, the community for that game is phenomenal. And I'm actually kind of good at it. Like I'm kind of cracked at Splitgate. I'm not going to lie.
Get out of here.
I am. I'm pretty good. But the new maps are great. They have tons of new game modes, like an absurd amount of game modes. They have this one, it's basically it's called a zombie mode, right? And it puts one person on each team is the survivor, and they have a gun, a shotgun, I think it is. And everybody else has the superpowered bat. Mm-hmm. And their speed is raised by like 3. So like it's times 3. So you are just sprinting, chasing down this guy with it's infected, yes. Yeah. You're sprinting down, chasing this guy, and it is so much fun. But the thing about Splitgate is they make it so that the survivor can't shoot portals. So your team has to set portals for you, and you have to like trust. It's the same thing as like VIP. Like when you're the VIP, you can't shoot portals. So like if you're being chased, you have to like run and jump into a portal and hope that it doesn't lead you to your
kill
death.
You. Yeah, right.
But it's so much fun. They have a bunch of different modes. King of the Hill was always there. They have they're basically adding anything that you could play in a Call of Duty or a Halo or whatever. Like they're adding these to the game, and they're putting the Fiesta mode where you get 2 random guns at the beginning. Like every mode has a Fiesta mode now too. The unlocks, one of the complaints that I had about this game when it launched were that the battle pass that they eventually put in, the unlocks were just very uninspired. They were basically palette swaps, or like, because you're playing avatars basically, like you're not actually those, like a person fighting. You're in like a simulation. So for whatever reason, all the characters that they would put in there are like, they all look like Master Chief variations, right?
Poor Master Chief variations for that. Like first, I don't know, the first like set of skins in that game were like uninspired. I don't even think does it justice. I actually just think that some of them were kind of bad.
Yeah,
but they've gotten way better.
Yeah, they have actual characters now, like that have like a history. They have like Spartan looking characters now that actually like are just flesh. Like they have like actual skin you could see. Stuff like that. So I hope that they dive more into that, because giving the game more character, even if it doesn't change gameplay in any way, just having the ability to have these characters or these skins give you some sort of personality would be a huge boost for incentive to grind out the battle pass. The other thing is they do the battle pass really well because like they don't force you, but they encourage you to play other game modes because you unlock things so much quicker if you just play other game modes. And one of the things that they did remove from the permanent gameplay playlist and options is the much maligned and controversial teabag confirmed mode. So, which is basically just kill confirmed, but you crouch on top of the body to teabag them to get the thing.
I like that mode.
I mean, it was tongue in cheek. It was tongue in cheek and silly and stupid, but it was it was a limited time mode now. It was up for 2 days and then they take it down. So I think they got more negative feedback than they were prepared for. Like they did it as like a joke, as like an ode to the toxic. They were basically making a toxic gameplay trait a gameplay feature so that they could almost desensitize what it means to, I guess, troll in a game like that with teabagging. You know,
a little bit. I mean, it is what it is. You know,
right.
Like I think if you were alive during the time where that was a thing that happened all the time, probably it didn't phase you. But I totally understand, like in this day and age, that probably doesn't come across as particularly accepting or inclusive.
Yeah, it's like, for example, if I was explaining to somebody who doesn't know what that is, like, oh, why are they crouching on me? Okay, let's take a trip down memory lane. There's this thing called teabagging. What's that? Well, in real life, like that's just a conversation you don't want to have. And so
I get it.
It's a tongue-in-cheek thing. I get it. But I'm glad that they're kind of moving away from the juvenile nature of it and making it a truly competitive game because the competitive side of that game is huge. If you like old school Halo, this is like perfect for you. Where Halo Infinite completely drops the ball, this game just exponentially blows it out of the water with like what you were expecting a Halo multiplayer experience to be. I have heard from plenty of Halo diehards who are at this point in the game extraordinarily disappointed in what's going on with Infinite. I haven't been following it. I don't really know what's happening. I played it when it first came out for a little bit, the multiplayer. I thought it was okay. But apparently it's in a state where people are really not happy. But I don't want to harp on that too much. But folks, Splitgate is free.
Mm-hmm.
It's a free multiplayer Halo-like with portals. If you like those kinds of 4v4 shooters, arena shooters, it's so fast-paced. There's so much to do. It's a blast. The community is really nice. If you come across a sweat in that game, there's a very good chance that sweat is a member of the community and will be able to and will like try and help you get better at the game. Like they'll reach out to you or like it's just such a good community.
And like there's not a lot. There's none of the game itself is gated behind any kind of payment at all. Like
no, none.
It is truly free to play, and like you'll just be generic skin people. You know.
Yeah.
It is what
every
it is.
game mode you could still unlock on skins and stuff with the generic battle pass because like there's a non-paid battle pass and then there's the battle pass premium. The premium it works just like Apex. Like every few levels you'll get something.
Yeah.
But every level you'll get something if you buy. Which is fine. Like you get plenty of XP. You could play for hours and it feels like you're playing for like 5 minutes. It's great. So I have been playing that a little bit more than usual. There's really nothing else that's kind of jumping out at me. I have yet to get into Stray. That downloaded last night. So I'm waiting to get into that. I'm going to be playing the demo of a game that we're going to talk about a little bit later in the show. But other than that, that's what I've been doing. You have been playing some older indies as well, I see.
Yeah, I've kind of been reaching back into the well. Not that I haven't had anything to play, but I've been kind of sidelined, and so my Switch has kind of been my go to right now because of COVID. I've just been kind of sitting on my couch and just digging back into that, the old classic indies. So I've been playing some Binding of Isaac. I hadn't played the newest update, really. Like I bought it on PC, but then I just kind of wasn't in the mood for it when it came out, and
Sure.
I've been like really digging back into that. And it's crazy digging back into that and playing through it and like seeing it hold up so many years later because like the original iteration of that game came out so long ago,
Yeah.
and just like the base gameplay just holds up so well, and the amount of stuff that they've added to that game is absolutely insane. And this latest update added like a whole new pool of even more items for you to build crazy synergies with. Added alternate floors and alternate paths, like multiple alternate floors, multiple alternate paths, and yeah, I've just had a whole lot of fun because Ed McMillan's like my original like indie hero. Like I love everything he does, and his whole style vibes with me. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just been fun like digging back into that and that game murdering me again because as long as I've played it, I'm still not the best at it. Like it still murders me more than I murder it. But yeah, it's
That's the
worth
name of the
worth
game,
picking up.
man. That's what that game is supposed to do. Like I watch stream like there are streamers that play that game and only play that game. Like
Yeah,
that's the game that they stream, and like the cult following that they have on like I'm going to do a such and such run, or I'm going to go for
yeah, I'll do an Eden run streak.
yeah, whatever the hell
You know
that
what I
means.
mean? Like it, which is just like a character that has randomized stats and stuff every time you start. But like the crazy part is that there are people who are so good at that game that they can like literally beat it every time. Like
Yeah.
they just know the workarounds, they
Yeah. Yeah.
know
Yeah.
where to go, they know what items to take, what items not to take, or how to get to like if you're in a position on floor X where you need to get some kind of boost, like all right, maybe I can work around this. And it's great. It's a great like bullet hell roguelike, and it's all about learning patterns and all that kind of stuff. And I just
Yeah.
I've been in love with it since its flash days, and I continue to love it now. I think I just needed to give it a little breathing space.
Hell yeah.
Um, so that was it's been fun digging back into that. I've also dug back into a game that recently got an update. Almost 3 years, 4 years now after its initial release, it got a free update, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But Into the Breach. This is a fun little indie title. Really, the setup is giant alien insects have invaded Earth, and you are deployed as a squad of 3 different mechs. There's a bunch of different mech squads that you can pick or buy over the course of your playthrough, and it plays a lot like chess because the game is really a lot less about killing these aliens, and it's more about shifting the harm out of the way of the things that are on the board. So you play on
Mm-hmm.
like I think it's like a 10 by 10 board or maybe 11 by 11 board, and there are different things dotted throughout buildings, power plants, bridges, whatever. And every level that you go through will have like a different set of objectives. Like, hey, don't let the power plant die, or don't like kill 7 Vec. So like in that case, you're supposed to kill them. But all of your abilities can not only just directly damage stuff, but also in general will move these enemies kind of out of the way. So if an enemy is like going to attack a building on the next turn, you'd say, hey, if I land a missile directly to your left, the blow off will push you right. Um, and so you get into a lot of these really cool situations where you're thinking a couple steps ahead of the enemy, or you're not necessarily saying, okay, if I direct hit you, it's like, okay, if I there are enemies that'll spawn, and like you'll see they're going to spawn next turn. You can even like position yourself on top of them to stop them from spawning. So there's a lot of different strategies you can employ, and the amount of different mechs that were already in the game is pretty huge and varied, and what they do is very varied, like from firing artillery to directly on them to like literally like wind blowing them out of the way. There's a lot of different stuff you can do, and so from Subset Games, who made uh, Faster Than Light, and it really was an indie darling when it came out, and so I've really been enjoying digging back into that.
You should absolutely check out Kaiju Wars if you haven't already. Former guest of the show.
Yeah.
of Dual Screens podcast. Kaiju Wars is similar, but it's about giant monster fighting.
Are you're the monster in that, or no? You're repelling the monster.
It's a little of both. Just
What?
it's a little bit of both. I'll get you to the description. It's probably easier if you just hear it from there.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I think Andy actually owns it, which means I technically
Yeah,
own
you
it.
can. I have it
Steam.
too. So you're the hopelessly outclassed military.
Love it.
But this is what it was. I remember now. It's all refreshing. Sometimes kaiju will fight each other. So like you can ally yourself with a certain monster. It's like Godzilla. Like, all right, you try to kill Godzilla, but then the next level, all of a sudden, the
Godzilla's on your team.
Yeah, but like not really. Like it doesn't give a shit that you're there.
It's just like, oh, fucking Mothra's here. Fuck you, Mothra.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, get the Mothra.
You go get him.
But
he's like, shut the fuck up.
It's not those characters, but yeah, I think you would enjoy that because it's very somewhat strategic and all that stuff. And it's newer, so you could stop playing old games.
Listen, man, I've had a choice.
It's true. What do you got for our steal of the week?
All right, Indie Steal of the Week is a game that I stumbled on called Gloomgrave. This is $3.99, I believe, and this is a like old school traditional tile by tile dungeon crawl.
Yes,
so like literally,
yes, I know this game. Yep.
So this is like literally like the old school Windows fucking
and NES. Like, I remember playing these games on like NES where it was impossible to know where you're going.
Yeah, well, so this has a map. There's four different classes. You can kind of dive deep. I hadn't gotten to a point yet where I've like run into a boss, so I don't actually know if there's bosses yet. But as you go down, you're attacking different kinds of enemies: skeletons, goblins, bats, all the standard fare. Equipping your character with different loot that you pick up that all has different affixes to it. And every time you level up, you get to pick from a selection of 3 different perks. And these can range from like potions, do double healing, to you take reduced damage from poison, all kinds of different things. You gain extra experience from killing enemies, and so it's a really simple roguelike, but it's really effective and really fun for $4. I've been kind of digging through it. It is very simple. Like that's the one thing that I'll say is I haven't found any kind of like hidden rooms or anything like that, which I was really hoping for.
I'm sure
there was a game that came out a while ago called Legend of Grimrock. There was a sequel to it as well, which I really liked. Very similar to this game, but way better graphics. Definitely check that out as well. But I was hoping for kind of that level of interaction. This game is in early access, so maybe we'll see that in the future. But for $4, I've been having a ton of fun with this game, and would definitely highly suggest it.
It is also on Apple and Android, and it's the same price, $3.99.
Yep. You know what's weird is I feel like people won't pay for phone games.
Oh, I always I pay for phone games all the time.
Oh yeah, you paid $20 for that fucking wrestling game.
Okay, relax.
I tried it. I understand why you paid the $20 because it's brutally slow if you don't. But $20 is a lot of money.
It wasn't $20. It was
$5. You said $20.
It was $5 4 different times.
That's $20, Steve.
I understand, but I wasn't like I'm gonna spend $20. It was like, one day into it, I'm gonna get a little boost. I'm gonna get these gold coins. I'm gonna be able to afford new stuff. Modern Wrestling Mania is what I'm talking about, by the way. Yeah. I love that game, and they're coming out with a true sequel that all your progress will carry over. So they're gonna have completely overhauled UI, complete overhauled everything. So it's gonna be dope, and they're adding a bunch of characters. They added characters that are basically the Usos today.
Yeah, I will definitely check out. Like, I didn't hate it. I did play a bunch of it. I just felt like I was doing the same thing over and over again because of how if you don't buy stuff, it's very slow.
Well, here's the thing about it. So, this is the thing I like about it. The game, each loop is 20 years. So you're playing 20 years of the Fed. Um, when your characters are gaining experience based on every character that you use gains experience based on what they're doing. So like if they have if you use a flavor card that gives like +1 skill, +2 pop or whatever, right? They get those attributes in that match, and once they reach a certain number, I don't know what the number is, they will level up one of those attributes permanently. When you max them out, you could then you could promote them a rank. So you could go from jobber to opener, mid carder, upper mid card, main event, legend, whatever. And that makes it so that they could be used in certain spots or whatever. But the cool thing is, like, you could also change their gimmick. They have alternate gimmicks. So once you upgrade them at least one time, you can then change their gimmicks, and you could have one card that's a part of 2 different factions, 2 different tag teams, you know, depending on which gimmick you choose. So like over the course of years, like I've created this story where they're basically the Iconics. They're two chicks that are modeled after the Iconics, right? But one of their alt gimmicks is like this masquerade character, like with this really cool masquerade gimmick. And I was like, oh, this is dope. But now they're not a tag team anymore. So now I had the other chick that was like just a jobber, basically. She was an opener, and the other one was now a mid-carder. So then I worked on building her up and putting her in feuds so that she would get her new gimmick and could be part of something else, part of a new stable
faction or tag team or whatever. Yeah.
So I upgraded her. Now her name is Tomboy, and now she's like got like this really oversized sweater, and she's like all like cool and chill, and like she's got like a backwards cap and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is dope. And now she's not an opener anymore. She's a mid-carder. So now she could like hold her own against other mid-carders. So now like I'm starting this whole other story with her, and like the game rewards you by having certain threads continue. Like if you do, like I unlocked a Love is in the Air skit, right? So it's a couple. You get the male or the female, or if there's also same sex and whatever. Like it's all in there. It doesn't matter. So you get the 2 cards, you put them in the segment. It's like, oh yeah, they have a segment. But if you put down the line, I think it's called On the Rocks, where you put the same 2, but it's a different.
They're in trouble now.
Where they're arguing. You get a boost to your star rating, and the more stars you do, the more ratings you get, and the more star power you put in your pay-per-views or in your events, the more live audience you'll draw, which will give you. It's really cool. It's nerdy, but it's there's a lot.
It is really cool, but if you don't spend money, it is very slow.
Yeah, at the end of every year, you get a gold coin, which is worth about 100,000 in-game dollars, which helps you get, like, some of the really cool items are like 300,000. So like you're gonna play a couple of years. I usually finish a whole year in like half a day. Like I'll just sit there and I'll just keep making cards and just boom, 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 boom. I usually do 20 years in a week, basically, is what I'm up to.
That's so much.
It's 12 weeks.
12 weeks. Yeah,
12,
I know.
12 shows to make or whatever. Not 12, it's 48 shows.
52?
52. However many that is. Because some of them are, because there's the paper, because they don't count pay-per-views. You could also add house shows. In the new update, they're adding a house show so you could take your openers and jobbers and like keep them working and building their stats without sacrificing show quality.
Time or spots.
It's cool. If you like those kinds of sims and you like the little special nod to wrestlers and whatever.
I will say, like, after downloading it, I like tried to download some other like not the AEW one, but other like generic ones.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is definitely like quality wise, that one is definitely the best of them.
Yeah, they kind of get it. Like they understand what makes like what you want to do as a fantasy booker. Like they get that. But anyway, we talked a lot about that. We have, speaking of old games, Dead Cells continues to just support.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what else to say. Motion Twin came out with a roadmap for future Dead Cells content all the way into 2023. The team says the update is specifically to combat the belief. Oh, not yeah. Specifically to combat the belief that after the latest DLC, Dead Cells is at or near the end of its lifespan. So they have no plans on ending this anytime soon. They have the updated roadmap. Let's take a look at that. It's a little small on my screen, so I'm gonna make it a little bigger here. Summer 2022, the Panchaku and more. We have fall 2022 boss rush mode, which
super excited for that.
Very exciting, because that's like the best part of the game in my opinion. But whatever. Winter 2022, it's a surprise.
We don't know. Who knows?
And if you can imagine, 2023. Probably also a surprise.
Well, it says the biggest year in Dead Cells history, which is crazy to think about because like they literally like since they released the game in a 1.0 state have been like one of the most consistently updated games in the industry. I'm pretty sure. Like they just throw updates out constantly. Like I can't even keep track of what they've thrown out at this point. It's crazy. And again, this is another game where I bought in super early, and it's one that I will keep returning to the well because I feel like the gameplay loop is so satisfying. Like fighting the bosses is great, but like running through a level and just having synergies that all connect to each other in like a weapon shield or like two weapon setups with your sub weapons where you're just annihilating everything feels so fucking good. And it's so fast, and it's just perfect. It's one of my favorite Metroidvania / roguelikes. Unbelievable.
Going back into one of the games you were playing this week, Into the Breach was in the news. They have a free advanced edition update, which gives you new mechs, pilots, enemies, missions, and quite a bit more. We'll just read this one real quick from PC Gamer. It's a short article. I'm going to go down actually to the additions. We got 5 new squads and 15 new squad achievements, 7 new Vec, 3 new Scions, and 10 new boss battles, 12 new missions, 3 new bonus mission goals, 4 new pilots, 10 new random pilot abilities, 39 new weapons.
39 new weapons.
New weapons
crazy.
And equipment. I hope they're not just cheap little variations on stuff, and that because that's one thing I hate.
So far, from what I found, they are not.
It's a bubble gun, but this time it shoots blue bubbles. Like I just hate, you know what I mean? Even more challenging difficulty mode called unfair mode. So there you go. You have that.
One really quick thing is if you kind of scroll further down, I already read this article, but the coolest thing about the unfair mode is that like the developer has literally come out and said, "Hey, just so everybody knows, this is literally the mode where you're delaying the inevitable. Like you're probably not going to win. Just try to win as much as you can until you die."
That's dope.
Which I think is awesome.
So here's some other changes here. We have optional content toggles. All the new content, enemies, pilot skills, etc. Other than balance changes are possible to turn off if you want just the base game. That's cool because then you know what's new. Like one thing that I always kind of always touch me the wrong way or rub me the wrong way is like getting into a game later after so much content has come out. You feel overwhelmed with all the shit you can do. This is a cool idea. Like you could be like, no, play the game, turn off all the new content, play the base game, and if you really love it, there's more for you. Like you just click a button, it's free. Click a button, boom, you have this all this new stuff. Weapon reactor usage has been reduced, whatever that means. There's some store changes, new tile mechanic cracking. Certain weapons will cause the ground to crack. If the tile is damaged again, it will shatter, destroying the tile and anything standing on it. Ooh, so you can make like little pits and traps and stuff. That's dope. New status effect is boost. It increases your next damage. So yeah, there's a bunch of new stuff here. Into the Breach is a really good game. It was pretty big when it came out. So yeah, get back into it.
Yeah, if you like chess or just like tactics style strategy games, it's like one of the best out there. If you liked FTL, which was also an indie darling in its day and still holds up pretty well now, it's a great follow up to that game, and I'm really excited to see if they're doing anything next because I would love to see another game.
Indeed, I would love to see so many games, but don't worry, we are, because there's so many damn games coming out.
There's a lot of games.
There's so many games. No Man's Sky,
Hot dang again, another game that
continues
keeps
to do
releasing
things.
updates. Yep,
This
they
is the
do.
update show. This is all about games, old games getting update. How old? This game is celebrating its 6th anniversary.
6 years. Crazy.
6 years ago, the entire world was disappointed. But since those since those 6 years, it has been nothing but the hardest working group of people putting out consistent updates.
I might have been one of the most disappointed people because I was like championing the fuck out of this game because the sound of this game is like fucking 6-year-old Matt Murray video game dreams.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Like infinitely generated, procedurally universe. Like I want to be an astronaut and do things. And while it wasn't that at launch, it certainly has come closer and closer to that dream ever since.
Yeah. So we have the endurance update. You want to tell people about that?
Sure. So this update is focused all on freighters and your fleet. So in the game, you've been able to kind of fly your freighter around, which is extra storage. You can kind of captain this fleet of different ships and send them out on missions, and they come back with different items and such that you can use for your farm or to craft and whatever. And so this has updated the building ability inside of freighters, and you can really like the way that a lot of people have been putting it is like you can really like Star Trek out your freighter, where like you can make the inside look exactly how you want it, whereas the building inside was relatively generic before and very minimal. And then they've also added a living ship. So in the game, there are living ships that you can get, which are literally a ship that is alive, and they've added freighters that are gigantic living ships, which is unbelievable looking.
Kind of like
the other thing that,
like the Chitauri or whatever.
Like yeah, kind of. So it's like literally a organic being that you're flying inside of. The other thing that they've done is they've made the freighters feel more active. So like there will be actual people walking around, doing tasks. You can talk to your crew or whatnot, and it's all centered around freighters, your fleet, and building freighters, and then also just expanding the amount of different types of freighters that there are. You can do a lot of different things now. You used to not be able to teleport directly to your freighter. You can do that. You can basically mine from your freighter. Like if you're in orbit, you can have like these different fucking mining setups on your ship that will mine planets. There's a whole bunch of different stuff. It's a little bit of a smaller update for what I would have expected for the 6th anniversary, but it's still great, and I'm really excited to see what they do for.
It
like,
sounds a lot like a quality of life kind of update. And I love that it's aptly named like endurance, because like if there's anything that this game has done, it's endure, and
absolutely
that's like so aptly named.
Alongside this update, they're also launching a capital ship, so like a freighter ship based expedition, which is like their seasonal content, which is pretty cool.
That's cool. It seems like it's becoming a little bit too much, in my opinion, from what you've told me. I have never played the game. I'm just gonna put that out there. Never played it. But it seems like they're kind of becoming more and more like a traditional MMO.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely making their way there. I think that it'll always be small squad based. Like you can only play multiplayer with a certain amount of people. So it's more like it's like instanced MMO, because there are places, there are hubs where you can go, and there are like these expeditions will be like a ton of people, but in your own like personal worlds, like, or your personal universes rather, or galaxies is more apt, because you go galaxy to galaxy. You'll only be able to see people who you're in multiplayer with, or every once in a while somebody might pop up and like be on a planet that you're on if they're there. And then if you go to like the galactic hub, like the big thing, there'll always be a ton of people there.
Yeah, because I remember the allure of the game was like everybody's in the same universe,
universe.
but
Yep.
there's so many planets that nobody would ever find each other.
So initially, actually, it's everybody was in the same galaxy in the same universe, but spoiler alert, for a 6-year-old game. At the end of like the story mode, you can hop to a different galaxy, and there's just infinite procedurally generated galaxies.
It's crazy.
And so like even what's wild to me is like even if I've restarted a game, because I've restarted with several different updates, I've never started in a solar system where things have been discovered. And this game has been around for 6 years, and I've never once started in a solar system where somebody else is.
Do you think they're cheating?
In that they generate on the fly, yes.
Yeah. I think that it's like it's infinite because they're always making a new one. Every time somebody starts a new game, they just boom add a new one.
I think that's probably very likely. Absolutely.
That's cool.
But
I still
there
think it's a
are
cool idea.
but even at that, you do go to like I've been to a ton of galaxies where stuff has been discovered already.
Yeah.
A bunch of solar systems where stuff has been discovered already. So like you will find your way. And then like I haven't yet, but it would be really interesting to find a planet from one of my other saves and see what's there and stuff like a galaxy that
See if anybody else found it or
or whatever. I don't know.
changed
It really is like if you want like chill space, like if you just need a chill out game, because it's not. I mean, it can be action oriented now with the update before this, but like if you just want like chill space vibes, fucking buy this game. It's on sale all the time. It's so good. There's so much to do.
$30 right now, I think.
Yeah, it's like 30 now. It goes down to 20 sometimes, and like I can't explain enough how much I love this game and how much they continue to support it is absolutely unbelievable. Like probably the greatest redemption story in the industry.
Buzz in the chat says it's on Game Pass. Is that on console and PC or just PC? Or let us know that, Buzz. I don't know if I saw it on console, but I didn't really browse.
Yeah, I will say if you're not the type of gamer who can kind of like make your own fun out of things, sometimes maybe you won't enjoy this game. But there's always like missions to do. There's always like an expedition to do, which is like a season of content where like you can go through a whole story. And they do that like every couple months. So even if you're just picking it up for that time, you're still getting new content, a new story, and new stuff to do every 3 months.
Awesome. Our final news story is Mojang says no to blockchain and NFTs in Minecraft.
Yeah.
No.
They say no.
No blockchain.
Basically, Mojang, a lot of their community has come out, and I guess there have been some people who have been locking skins or like attaching skins and different packs to the blockchain. And they've been like, "Hey, we don't want you to do that." And they kind of came out finally and officially said, like, we don't find that to be particularly inclusive, and we don't like that kind of scarcity. That's not like what our community is all about. Which I think is interesting.
It seems antithetical to what Minecraft is, which is like, come play our dumb game and have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, if you don't have $5 to buy this thing and hope that hopefully turns into $5 million. Okay. Like,
yeah, exactly. I don't think that it's they like you said, like just the vibe of Minecraft and their whole mission statement is very everybody come play this game, please. And the idea of NFTs and exclusive content is very not Mojang.
Yeah, totally. And I wonder how that jives with Microsoft. Microsoft's theory.
I mean, they haven't have they. I haven't ever heard them say anything about NFTs. Or anything,
I haven't either, but it's Microsoft. Like it's one of the biggest companies on the planet. I feel like if there's any company that's going to at least do the research.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like they probably have an entire library full of research about NFTs and crypto and all that stuff.
Here's what I would say is that I think that NFTs are really short-term gain, right? And so like a company like GameStop or Ubisoft might be looking at that and say, hey, we can make some big money quick,
this quarter. Yeah.
This quarter or whatever. Microsoft doesn't give a shit about that. Microsoft
Yeah,
has so
yeah.
much money, they're invested in so much stuff that it's probably not worth it for them
It's
to
a blip
invest.
on their radar. Like it's like okay, yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for them to do it, and I don't think
yeah,
that they ever will.
yeah. Our Kickstarter of the week this week is a special one because it's a little we have some story time here. Um,
Oh,
in the Dual
oh no, wait,
Screens
this is a good story
podcast,
time.
we recorded this show in May. It was the show that went up just this past week. So if you go, Eternal Exodus, our friend Josh was our guest. He has been in our Discord ever since that episode was recorded, and nobody except for Andy and I have heard that episode up until last weekend. So
Hmm.
he has been interacting with us for months. Matt, you have been talking to Josh for months. He has humbly just been sitting there, just kind of chilling out with us, just literally talking about games. Really cool, chill dude. Um, our show that we did in May inspired Josh to relaunch his Kickstarter because he had a failed Kickstarter when he first started a couple of years ago when he first put this game out to the world. His Kickstarter failed. He was very dejected. Basically, if you want to know, listen to the interview so you could hear his story. But he has said since then that the reason why he relaunched his Kickstarter was because of our conversation that we had on our show. Um, and it inspired him, and he did. And we are proud to say that after 1 week of being live,
Funded.
he is fully funded. He wasn't asking for a ton, but the game is now funded. It is a successful Kickstarter campaign. So you're gonna look for Eternal Exodus. It is a SNES early PlayStation inspired JRPG with monster catching, breeding, and taming. It is a really really cool idea. And I'm very proud of him having. I'm proud of two things. I'm proud of him having the courage of Josh having the courage to try this again after being so dejected the first time around. But I'm also
Yeah,
kind of proud of us that we were able to like see this game and say no, that people need to know about this game because it really is uh it really is something special.
yeah,
Um,
it's a love letter to a lot of different eras
yeah.
of retro games.
Let's see what he's up to now because I want to see how we're looking at his goal. So
I was gonna pull it up, but it would have
okay, so
taken
he's
like
at
18 and a half
five
years.
two 45. So he has gone past his goal. He's got 23 days to go, 90 backers, which is phenomenal. He's about to break 100 backers. If he hits 8K, he's going to do an expert AI hard mode. 11K, he's going to build a trading card game and put it into the game. And that was one thing we actually discussed in the show as well, because we have a love for those little sidebar card games and
Hmm.
old Final Fantasy games. Um, so the whole thing about Eternal Exodus, it's a story-driven monster-catching RPG set in the afterlife. You craft and fuse monsters and create all new monsters. They're not monsters; they're demons. Excuse me. So it's got a Shin Megami Tensei vibe to it as well. Each species has various strengths and weaknesses. They can learn and pass unique spells and passive abilities, leading to endless combinations of highly customized parties. Um, I'm the game. It's such a cool concept, and
Yeah,
um, a good human being is making it. So if you guys want to support something on Kickstarter, the game was going to be made regardless of this Kickstarter. This is just going to help Josh
I just think
contract
it's
out some work and whatnot.
it's so awesome that like he came on the show really just like you know to promote the game or whatever. You guys instilled so much confidence in him that he relaunched Kickstarter and he was immediately successful with it.
Yeah,
I think that is so awesome. And I'm looking forward to this game. I don't traditionally love these types of games, but the idea of this game, the afterlife, it being demons and not animals, and the fusing idea just sounds so fucking cool. That sounds so awesome.
yeah. It's got a whimsy, like a whimsical, childlike charm to it as well, but it's got that dark story. Um, just a lot, just look,
A
listen,
lot to love.
it's a passion project. There's a lot of love put into it, so go and check that Kickstarter out. The link will be in the show description for you. That's gonna bring us to the end of the show. We have no reader questions in our Discord that I saw, and if I go and look at them now on the computer, it will shut your video capture off. So I'm not gonna do that. Chat, if you want to ask or let us know anything. Buzz does say that No Man's Ski is on both Game Pass and Game Pass PC. So no excuse.
Worth checking out. Worth checking out.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
it's super fun.
That's
exciting.
cross-platform play and all that?
Yep.
Cool. Maybe I'll throw that on the old Xbox and we can play some No Man's Ski together.
It's very fun.
I'm always more in love with the idea of playing those games with a bunch of people than actually doing it, because I feel like there's so many systems to learn that it just becomes an overwhelming kind of experience.
The thing about the multiplayer in that game is that most of the time you'll be doing like what's called Nexus missions, which is the community hub. And the Nexus missions are very specific. Like you're going like, okay, go kill 5 sentinels, or go collect this much of a mineral or whatever and bring it back. And so it really is just kind of like a reason to go down to a planet and get some shit and come back. And more than anything, it's more of a chance to just kind of shoot the shit. Like it's not a lot of strategic planning or anything like that. It's more just like, hey, let's go do this thing together and hang out while we do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm down. I'm down to explore a galaxy.
And I'll tell you, the VR game is the only game that's ever made me sick, because I was leaving orbit in a plane, like in my ship, and I flew out of orbit, and I was like, wow, this is fucking intense. And I like looked to my right, and there was a planet-sized planet to my right, and my brain like had so much trouble comprehending the size of a planet-sized planet in real life that I got immediately dizzy. I was just like, I cannot do this. And I was like, never again. I will never do this ever again.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Thank you for joining me, Matt. This was a great show.
Yeah. Very fun.
Really cool. I'm going to have a lot more to talk about next week, because I'm finally not going to be completely inundated at work. So I'll have a lot more free time and brain space to like take
I'll hopefully not be dying all next week.
Yeah, you got the Rona, you got fucking poison at work. Like it's dumb.
Yeah. Not good.
Totally.
Anyway.
All right, folks, that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, chat. Thank you, everybody. And as always, please be excellent to those indie gamers.